My mother calls me on a spring afternoon to tell me that my father has late-stage cancer and I'm not supposed to know. She promised she wouldn't tell me. Suck it up, shut up, just listen. Dad and I aren't talking because we're both stubborn and we're waiting for the other call. My mother, assuming her familiar role, plays intermediary, negotiator, translator. We speak through her, dropping digs about the other. I tried calling and he didn't pick up. I called the last 3 times. A phone works both ways. Tick, tock. Should I just pick up the phone? If I do, he'll know Mom told me. If I don't, I'm not sure I can live with myself knowing I will have done nothing to make amends. Suck it up. Her call haunts me for months. I'm on edge, depressed, helpless. Then he calls. I hear something in his voice, something I've never heard there before, and it rattles me. Fear. He does his best to put on a show, but I know. I want this piece to be about him, his stories, his choices, his voice, but it's impossible to separate him from me. I suppose it's about us. All of us. I cling to the notion that we are all fundamentally one, that our stories utter one another. We were always different. You know. He said I was soft. I made fun of the smoothness of my hands, the books I chose to read over more manly activities, the career I wanted. I resent these indictments. They clog the space between us, making it near impossible to traverse. He'd say, suck it up. At 7, I fell out of a 2-story treehouse, breaking several bones. He wouldn't let the nurse take me to the car in a wheelchair nor give me crutches, because his son wasn't a fucking cripple. Macho guy bullshit and all, I loved him. He was a good man and father, but things are rarely tidy, and he was by no means perfect. He always practiced what he preached, though. If he could move, he worked. Suck it up! The doctors tell him that without treatment he has 4 months. 6 tops. I do the math, it's 3 months in. My voice begins to match his, my native southern accent, long ago beaten out of me by voice teachers, starts to bleed back in. Am I doing this on purpose? Careful! Don't make a fuss, don't go getting all emotional, don't be soft. Just listen. He's refused treatment because he doesn't want to go out into bed hooked up to tubes like he saw his mother and too many of his friends suffer. He wants to die on his feet when it's his time. It's his time. 4 months. 6 tops. Tick tock. Just listen. He says he wants to see me. He doesn't want us to go back to our old pattern of communication. I agree. He asks me not to tell anyone else in the family. Doesn't matter anyways, there's no point in getting them all worked up. It bothers me to know there are people walking around with no idea of what's coming. I want to talk them out of secrecy, but think better, suck it up, tick-tock, just listen. We make good on our promises. Tick. We talk at least once a week. Talk. We try to see each other, but it never works out. You know, time, money, obligations. Or at least that's what we say. Does fear, death, chasm between us, distance, emotional, geographical, sit beneath more pragmatic concerns. May becomes June, then July. Tick-tock. As each week passes, it gets harder not to worry. Tick-tock. I can't see any reference to the date without hearing tick-tock. I'm scared. Am I afraid of what I might find, or that a visit now will make his passing harder? I am shamed by this. Just listen. He says the worst part is that sometimes he gets too worn out and just has to lie down. An agonizing admission for a man so proud. He can't work alone, and so has hired help. He's not taking on new jobs, just finishing up what he's begun. He has to. Not just because he gave his word, but so that he can save up enough money to retire to the Ridge. Blue Ridge Mountains in Tennessee. Hadn't changed since his childhood. It's always been a place of peace, comfort. He tells me I'll have to go up there to claim his boat and his bike because he wants me to have them. My stomach turns. At least I don't have to claim the body, I think. I'm shamed by that, too. He tells me he's dislocated his shoulder, hauling a roll of drywall tape up 2 flights of stairs alone at night. I thought you said you were taking it easy, that you hired guys on. I go back in at night because I don't want them to see me like this, and it gets me out of the house. Can't sit on the couch all goddamn day. It makes me feel better. I don't want them to see me like this. I'm bothered by what like this means. His doctors fight him. Mr. Jenkins, you're making a mistake. We can give you more time. Think of your family. He sits in waiting rooms arguing his case to anyone in earshot. Doctors don't give a shit about what a person wants. It's a goddamn money. He will not be silenced, nor made to be the bad guy. He will do this on his terms. The cancer spread, pumps through his veins, bones, and lymphatic system. A tumor sits in his throat. I'm terrified. Can't say it though. Not to him. Suck it up. It's now Christmas. A year after that prognosis of 4 months, 6 tops. We're making plans for a visit. I ask him what he wants, a habit I'd given up on a long time ago, but he surprises me with the alacrity of his reply. A bottle of Crown and a joint. He was an intimidating dude. He towered at 6 foot 6 1/2 inches, but you would proudly claim in his distinct north side twang. Large, hairy forearms ended hands like cinder blocks from decades of manual labor. He terrified me as a kid. He's the largest man on earth. He snuck up on me once and scared me, sending me speeding across the backyard as fast as my little feet would carry me. Thinking this was play, he gave chase, alternately laughing and yelling, "I'm gonna get ya!" I screamed, heart pounding in my throat, looking over my shoulder until both feet left the ground and I crashed flat on my back. I never saw the support cable from the utility pole before it clotheslined me. He felt horrible. Scooped me up, carried me inside to clean me up. Later, I overheard him confess his concern of my fear to my mother. "Michael, he's 6 and you're almost 7 feet tall." So look at him, you'd think biker, work boots, Harley shirt, Levi's straight cut jeans. He cared deeply for his family and those he chose to call friend. If he cared, he'd give you the shirt off his back his last 20 or put in a new bathroom for you over the weekend. This is who I want to see at Christmas. This is who I'm afraid I've already missed. The man who greets me on the porch is older than I remember. His hair thinner, more gray. His back is hunched. He moves deliberately. He looks exhausted, but his spirits soar. He touches me way more than I expect, but it's comforting. He clears his throat often. He drinks more water in a few hours than I've ever seen him drink my entire life. We spend the night sharing story after story. The Crown's open and passed around. God, he loved Crown Royal. He said it's the best there is. The night gets murky around 9. He's impressed my wife Summer is keeping up with him. He hugs her over too, loudly kissing her cheek. He proclaims what a righteous daughter-in-law he has and how I did good marrying her. He holds court all night on that small back patio, and it's only when I let go of the need to control the situation, of the need to try to make this night perfect somehow, of the need to try to squeeze in so many neglected years of a relationship, tick-tock, 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 I can enjoy myself and him in the moment. Just listen. He's He's the first person I call at midnight on New Year's. His is the first voice I hear on my birthday. He's now a month away from making the drive to the Ridge, and we're making plans for another visit. I continue to just try to bury my fears, suck it up, and do my best to just be. This TikTok is paralyzing. May 4th, 2009. Mike Jenkins was working on a roof in Savannah, Georgia on an unseasonably hot afternoon. He promised the roof would be finished this day. It was his last job before the Ridge. He was wearing out in the heat and knew that he wouldn't finish with the daylight he had left. The older woman who owned the house popped out to check on him and offer him a sweet tea. He happily accepted and asked if he could come back and finish in the morning. She said that was more than fine and went inside to get his drink. Mike packed up his tools, everything in its place and a place for everything, and descended the ladder. With his feet on the ground, he took his last breath. Michael Glenn Jenkins went out on his terms, on his 2 feet, tools in hand at the foot of a ladder after roofing alone in the hot Georgia sun with cancer running through every part of his body. He could have all of them or none of them, and he held out far longer than anyone thought. A chain of phone calls. The woman calls Mike's wife calls his brother calls Mike's first wife, and she calls their son. The son chokes on a wave of guilt and remorse. For the years he and his father didn't connect, that they ignored their relationship, that they allowed pride to get the best of them. He was a week away from seeing his dad the 5 months since Christmas and eternity. Where does time go? He could not be sad about his father's death, which is not to say that he did not grieve. He thought about the old man coming down that ladder and collapsing precisely as he said he wanted to go, and he pictured a smile on the old man's face. The son thought of the year the old man stole from cancer, and the son smiled. You did not tell Mike Jenkins what he could not do. Not doctors, not cancer, not anybody. It's never tidy, though, is it? No matter how at peace I am that he went out on his terms, I can't move on because of what others allow to count. His last wishes were never honored, and there's nothing I can do about it. If you were my birth father, if I would have let him adopt me, I wouldn't be here. That might seem like critical information to drop so late. But it never mattered to me. Or him. Another story for another time. He was the only father I have ever known, and it's now my burden to carry, and I just have to suck it up. Time will tell, or heal, or deaden. We finally made it to the Ridge. Well, most of them. An oak grows atop his ashes, and on my mantle, encased in a regal glass bottle and an imperial purple bag stitched with gold, sits the rest. The best